Look at that. What's up, everybody? Hi, I'm Tiffany Jenkins.
You took my.
Oh, sorry.
You took my.
I'm sorry. I got excited.
I'm excited.
Come on
I'm
in.
excited. Okay, I'm here. I'm here. Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited.
I'm
So nervous.
excited
I'm
too.
so nervous. Um, my name's Flip, and I am with the one and only Tiffany Jenkins,
Hello.
and we are here to talk about your new book, A Clean Mess.
Yes. My new book's coming out soon. I'm super excited. Ask me anything.
When's it coming out?
June 3rd, the book will come out, but you can pre-order it now.
And you can get signed copies at premiercollectibles.com/clean mess.
Yes. And the word premiere is tricky to spell, as it turns out.
It always messes me
Oh,
up.
they have it at the bottom scrolling.
That's good because I have it written down and I probably would still spell it wrong.
Hey, friends.
What's going on,
Who's in
everybody?
here? Heather, Deborah, Summer, what's up? Oh, I'm sorry you're in the hospital, Kaylin. I hope you're okay. So I'm super stoked. I haven't really talked about the book too much with you guys, so I thought it might be fun to go live with my friend. And he's going to ask me some questions. You guys can ask some questions about the book if you want, and we're just going to hang out.
Okay, there it is. There it is. So the first question that I have for you is: the first book came out,
Uh-huh.
had success. When did you know you wanted to write a second book? Did you want to write a second book? What was that process like?
Great question, Flipper. I knew after my first story that there was still so much story left to tell. um, Things had only just begun in my first book. So in my second book, I really wanted to talk about what life was like as a recovering addict who's kind of been picked up from this life of addiction and plopped into the real world and left to her own devices for the first time. So that's when I knew.
Okay. Okay. So you chronicle life after addiction from early sobriety to navigating motherhood and divorce. What inspired you to share this particular phase of your journey?
Oh,
Women are strong.
yeah. So I guess for me, life has a way of twisting and turning, and I wanted people to see that it's possible to have a life after addiction, that in a way it's difficult for a person who is coming out of the system, perhaps with some felonies under their belt, trying to find a job, trying to gain people's trust back and gain relationships back. That is really tricky. And I wanted to take the audience with me through that process so they could see, while it is difficult and while challenges are presented in early recovery, it is possible to get through.
Love that. I love that. So here's a lighter question. You discuss learning to live and feel without numbing yourself with drugs. What were some of the most challenging emotions you faced during this transition?
I have a broken nail, first of all, in case you noticed. I want you to know that I know that you know. Um, Second of all, I'm sorry, can you ask me that again? Can you lean in so we can see your hands?
You discuss learning to live and feel without numbing yourself with
Yes.
drugs. What were some of the most challenging emotions you faced during this transition?
Oh my gosh. Motherhood.
Mm.
I don't know if that counts as an emotion, but you could just go ahead and put all the emotions that come with motherhood. Um, I experienced life, death, marriage, divorce, all these crazy things. And I think it was most difficult to write about the recent stuff,
Mm.
because I was technically going through it still while writing about it.
Your story is told with dark humor and raw honesty. How did humor play a role in your recovery and storytelling?
Humor is just my number one coping mechanism. It's just my go-to, my number one trauma response. Whenever something feels awkward, humor. Whenever things are getting too serious, humor. It's my go-to, and it has served a great purpose in my life because I feel like all of this stuff, addiction, mental health, postpartum depression, all the stuff I talk about in my book, It's all really heavy. And so I found that when talking to people, if I use humor to bring awareness to these subjects, they tend to listen more. And so that's just kind of what I did. I thought, if I don't laugh about it, I'll cry. So why not make it as entertaining as possible while delivering a message? Yes, it's available in Canada. If you want, in the meantime, no pressure. Everything's linked in my bio on Instagram.
How did the writing process for this memoir differ from your first book, High Achiever? Mm.
The writing process for this book
Dang.
um, was very different. The first book I wrote alone in my house, and nobody really knew who I was. So there was nobody. There was nobody expecting anything. Nobody anticipating anything. Everybody ended up digging my first book, which was amazing. But then by the time it came time to write this one, there was people who knew my story and who wanted to know more and who might be looking forward to it. So it was kind of nerve-wracking because at first I found myself writing it the way that I thought the audience would want it. And then I had to scratch the whole thing. And I'm like, I'm just going to write it the way that makes me happy.
It's a regular
It's
occurrence over
my
here.
time to shine.
I'm
This is quit trying to steal my stuff.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I saw somebody in the chat was asking how do they get a signed copy? premiercollectibles.com/clean mess. You can get a signed copy. Just wanted to say that.
Thank you. That's great.
You're welcome.
I don't even remember what I was rambling about, honestly.
Thelonious completely threw me off. He completely threw me off. I don't even know where you were.
So many people are like, Flip, seeing you in a button down was not on my bingo card.
Here it is.
We got dressed up for you tonight.
You're in pajama pants.
Okay, let's not yell at each other. Okay, let's just be friends.
How did you decide what personal experiences to include or omit to maintain authenticity while respecting your privacy and that of others?
That's a good story. I'm going to be really honest with everyone about this book. This was not the book I had planned on writing. I had written a different version of this book. I had submitted it to the publisher. And then a couple of years ago, my life got turned upside down. And I'd like to take a minute, just stop right there. I'm just kidding. But it really did get flipped upside down. And I was like, I can't publish the book the way it is because that's not true anymore. The life that I thought I had does not exist anymore. So I had to rewrite it. And so I asked for the manuscript back and I rewrote it. Part of me was angry that I had to write this part of my story because it wasn't a part that I ever anticipated having to tell or wanting to talk about. But in order to remain as authentic as possible, I knew I had to talk about it, but I wanted to write it in a way that was respectful to all parties involved. And so it was important to me to leave out specific details so as to not change the way certain family members view other certain family members.
It's a good question. Is there a link in your bio to get a signed copy?
There is. So when you go to my bio, there's like 3 separate tabs. One of them is if you live in Canada, one of them is if you want a regular copy, and then one of them is if you want a signed copy. And I think can you see it at the bottom?
Yeah, I don't know if that's like a clickable link though.
No, I know, but I just want to make sure. I'm just curious. I've never seen anything like that. That's really cool.
It's super fancy.
It makes it look like I have my life together.
Oh, sorry, I was reading.
Yeah, you just like
I was reading.
I am.
You became a sober mom of 3 within 2 years of being released from jail. How did motherhood influence your recovery journey?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, friggin, it influenced it in a way that I never anticipated. So there's a part that I talk about in the book, which is when I find out that I'm pregnant. And I find out that I'm pregnant in a very unconventional location.
Where's that?
A halfway house. And I got pregnant from a guy who lived in another halfway house.
Mm.
And neither of us had anything to offer the child. We had no jobs, no nothing, but we had, this weird feeling that everything was going to be okay. So, knowing that this little life was inside of me gave me a newfound strength and determination in my recovery. I already had a pretty good foundation, but this just really drove me stay focused.
I could imagine that would be hard because I think back about some of your earlier videos when your kids were babies, right? And having to navigate that and still be somewhat new in recovery.
Mhm.
Because I'll tell you what,
Mm.
my kids now, some days I'm like,
Locking
yeah,
him out of the house.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, what was, I mean, were there days or were you just so mama focused that like you didn't even think about
No, that's a greit question because actually a huge part this sounds really rehearsed. Thank you for bringing that up. A huge part of my book that I wrote about, but for real, when I became a mom, newly into recovery, and I became a mom super quick, I friggin' got really bad postpartum depression. I struggled. It was really dark. I fantasized being kidnapped so that I didn't have to be a mom anymore. Like it was really bad. And I talk about this in the book a little bit. Like there was a point where I wanted to leave my kids and run out of the house. Like I couldn't do it. And I was either going to get high or run, do something terrible at one point in the book. But I don't know. I think I did not handle it well,
That's fair.
to answer your question. It's about as crazy as you could imagine.
What made you want to kind of start sharing with the world your journey?
So it was actually when I had postpartum depression, after I had Chloe, the doctor was like, you should start writing and get some of these thoughts and these feelings out. You're going through so much, and it might help you to kind of express yourself in that way. So I started writing, and then I decided to turn it into a blog. And that was when somebody sent me a message and was like, your blog is so incredible. I wish I could send it to my son who's in jail. That was when I got the idea to take the blog down, turn it into a book that people could mail to people in jail. And that's how my first book was born. Yeah.
So
I do have a new book coming out June 3rd,
you can get signed copies at premiercollectibles.com/clean mess.
if you want. They're not going to be worth anything, but no, I'm just kidding.
What insights can you share about maintaining relationships during recovery? Mm.
What was the question?
What advice would you give to someone? Nope, different question. What insights can you share about maintaining relationships during recovery?
What insights can I share about maintaining relationships in recovery? Well, I'm good at maintaining friendships in recovery. I guess I'm good at maintaining relationships. I maintained a relationship for a pretty long time.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily has to be like that. I think if you have a friendship, that's a relationship,
Yeah.
right?
I think once I got into recovery, I learned the real definition of
Yeah.
friendship and I was able to see what a real friendship was. And so once I was able to receive that kind of unconditional love, I was able to give it, I think. And so for me, the golden rule, do unto others as you want unto done you.
Okay. Um,
You're just going to let me get away with saying that way?
yeah, sorry, I'm multitasking
Yeah,
here.
that's okay.
How do you get through panic attacks and depression? Question from a
With help.
supporter.
Not alone.
Mm,
I'll tell you that. I have multiple therapists for multiple things that I need help with in my life. And truthfully, I think, recognizing that you've got this stuff going on and then getting help for yourself because our brains, we don't know what we're not rocket. I use the same analogy all the time and it's so dumb, but when your car breaks down, you could try to fix it yourself and it might run down the road for a little bit, but eventually it's going to break down again because you're not a friggin' mechanic. Same thing with our brains. We could try to fix them ourselves, but eventually it's going to break down because we don't know the tools to cope with anxiety and depression. We don't know like the tricks and the tips and the meditations and the readings and things like that. So getting help for my mental illness was the greatest thing I've ever done.
I think something that I've noticed along the journey is when you, at least for the depression
Mhm.
aspect, is you reach out.
Me?
Yes,
Hmm.
you reach out and you ask for help, and I think that that's so important.
Thank you. I do that. Do.
Oh.
I'm just going to casually set this here. Not
What advice would you give to someone who is in the early stages of recovery and facing life's challenges without their usual coping mechanisms?
mm, when I first got into recovery, one of the first things that I did was learned what my triggers were and what made me want to use what types of things, no matter how weird and obscure they were. So, like the sound of pills in a bottle, or watching someone else on the side of the road nodding out, or feeling out of control of my feelings, whatever the triggers were that made me want to use, I would identify those and then come up with alternative tools to pull out in those moments. So in the early stages of recovery, I was doing all kinds of weird stuff. I was literally just running up and down the road trying to get some of the nervous energy out. I had Orbeez in a bowl that I would just run my hands through, and fidgets, and um, again, counseling, therapy, friends in recovery. Making friends in recovery was huge for me because we can't do it alone. I mean, you can, some people can. It's really hard and lonely.
Okay, so this second book,
Mhm.
the first book is kind of
For
you.
those of you wondering, this is Flip. Him and I have a podcast together. He is also married to my best friend. He's also a professional moderator, and his Instagram is Flip
Adam Live. You're my friend. You
Flip
should know.
Adam Live.
Yes. I don't know why you're doing this about you
Because
again.
I want
Okay.
people to follow you because you're amazing.
So I appreciate you. A clean mess. The first book kind of goes through your journey, some of the darker times, right? This is your journey since you've been in recovery and kind of almost to where you are today.
Hmm.
I mean, you just got done writing it not that long.
Right.
Are there things that are written in your book that you think your supporters are going to be surprised about? Because you're so open and I feel like you share so much. Are there things that you haven't shared that are in the book?
Yeah. I kept the majority of my divorce and stuff offline. I kept the majority of my feelings and thoughts and emotions during that time offline. So there are a few stories in here that I've never told publicly. Um, there because I didn't want everybody in my business,
Mm.
but they are crucial to the story. So I don't mind them putting them in this because it wouldn't be my story if I didn't include them. So there's a couple of stories in there that people have never heard. And I think just being with me during the initial days and weeks and months following the divorce, nobody really has gotten that side of me. So that might surprise people.
Is there anything like, are you excited? Are you nervous? What are kind of the emotions that you're feeling with the upcoming release less than a week away?
Is it?
Less than a week
Is
away.
it really?
Less than a week away.
I'm gonna throw up. Don't feel good. Excitement. I think, look at how red my face is, dude. I'm tripping. I didn't realize. I'm excited and not nervous, and so excited. It's always really scary to put yourself out there,
Mm.
especially in this way. So I am a bit nervous as to how I'm going to be perceived. I want people to enjoy the book. So I truly hope that most, if not all, people do. There's that fear that I think anybody would have. Maybe not. Maybe just chronic people pleasers like me, but fear that maybe it's not going to meet people's expectations. But all in all, it's written in a way that I want. It's a story that I wanted to tell the way I wanted to tell it. And even if it helps just one person, it makes it worth it to me. So I don't remember what your original question was, but all of that I said.
Just a reminder, if you want a signed copy, premiercollectibles.com/clean mess. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Somebody said I don't have to read any Bound Chicken Wow Wow in the new book, do I? Great question. A little bit. There's a little bit, but I didn't make it super inappropriate, but I had to include it. But it's like PG-17. Nah, 18 probably. Sorry, what were you gonna say? You guys are so cute together. We are not together, but we are besties. I don't know if I can say that. It might be a little too soon, but I consider you one of my best friends.
I know.
And yeah, we do a podcast together. But that's not what this is about. This is about my new book, A Clean Mess, where you can get signed copies at premiercollectibles.com /
You know what's messed up is this is the first time I'm seeing this.
Is it?
Yes.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
That's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
So this book, right? I know that there's a lot of emotions with it being released. I know that you're super excited, you're super nervous, there's some fear-based things. All in all, now that the project's done and it's less than a week away from being released,
Mm.
do you feel satisfied with the work itself that you put out there for the world?
Yeah.
It was a very confident yeah.
I would be much more satisfied if it ended with me
Happily ever after.
winning the lottery and growing a mermaid tail and living in the ocean forever. Or that's a different story. I don't know how to talk about serious things. Am I satisfied? Again, not the story I had originally wanted to write, not the story I envisioned writing, but the story that was meant to be written. So I'm satisfied with that.
Put browsing endorsement.
Listen. One thing about me is I am not good at things, including promoting myself. Yes, there's an audiobook. I narrated the audiobook. Mhm. But we don't care about that because we've got signed copies.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry. Good point. Will there be other opportunities to get a signed copy once it's out? Yeah. So once it's sorry.
No, go ahead.
Once it's out, the signed copies are going to be available for a little while until they run out. Obviously, but I'm sure there's going to be other random opportunities. Like I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like randomly, like hey, I don't know. This is my second book. Comes out June 3rd. I'm so excited for the book. Aw, yay! Thank you. Absolutely, Jennifer.
I want to open it up to them, see if there's any questions they have. What questions do you guys have?
Oh, that's fun. Amazing.
This has got to be one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of.
Are you serious?
Oh my God.
Aw.
How do I order? That's a great question. So there's a couple ways. You can go to premiercollectibles.com/clean mess. You can go to Tiff's bio and there'll be a link in there for that. But that's probably the easiest ways.
I would like to, Christine. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Thanks, friends. We're just reading your comments now. No, you didn't. Sorry, it's such a bad habit. Aren't there rapid fire?
Yeah, but
Are they weird?
Well, no, they're just they're very basic.
Huh. No offense to the person who wrote them who might be watching this.
Well, where were you born?
I was born in a hospital. out of my mother's womb in New Jersey.
Ugh.
Flip, you look fabulous this evening. This is Jenny. Joan, I can't see that far. My astigmatism.
What's your favorite color?
Purple.
These are rapid fire, so I'm not going to give you any time.
Okay.
What is one thing you need to have in your fridge at all times?
Coffee.
I thought you were going to say cheese. Who's the most interesting person you met recently?
To meet people, you must leave the house. Most interesting person I met. Yeah, I talked to a woman today. She has a podcast. And she was very interesting to me. She had 25 years of sobriety. She was 52. She looked like she was 25 years old. She was wonderful. I'll be sharing some clips from that podcast soon.
Okay. Somebody had a question, a couple years clean. Any recommendations on leaving their spouse?
Recommendations like how to do it, should you do it? These are big questions that I wouldn't ever want to answer that, just because I think marriages, and relationships are such a personal thing, and they're so intricate, and there's so many sides and facets to it. So I would never recommend anybody, leave anybody.
Do it.
If if you are in a place where you're ready to leave and you want some coping skills and tools, I also don't have those for you. So I am just fumbling my way through life. I'm just kidding. I will say that I wouldn't waste longer than a minute and a half in a place where I don't belong.
I, I love that. What somebody just said.
Okay, let's hear it. I could see you exploding at the seams.
Please read us a paragraph or two. Can we do that?
Am I allowed to read a
Can we
paragraph
do
or
that?
two? Maybe. I don't know if I'm allowed. I know that I can read the first paragraph. I can read. What if I just open it randomly and just read something?
Do it.
Okay.
Do it.
I'm just going to open it randomly and read a paragraph.
Not there.
My God.
You should have known that was going to happen. And you know it's good because your face is matching your shirt. God, it's not going away. You're getting redder. I'm starting to get nervous.
So embarrassed. I'm really upset.
Buckle up.
I'm really upset.
Okay.
Okay, honey, you feeling like you want to have a bowel movement? She asked, snapping on a glove. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe, I winced. Okay, I'm going to take a quick peek, okay? She stuck her fingers. I'm going to pick a different paragraph.
Oh boy.
What? My sister hadn't had me over since my arrest. I think she still had it in her head that I would steal something, which I probably would have a year ago. Really? Come to my house. I have a plan. So, if you want more of that, premiercollectibles.com/
Clean mess.
Is it just clean mess?
It's just clean
Just
mess.
clean mess.
Yeah.
Leave it up to the moderator.
Yeah.
I can't believe the first line I turned to.
I know. This is a great thing because this is something we're both going to experience really soon. You're turning 40.
Why are you attacking me on a
I turned 40. You're almost there, Tiff.
What? Who?
Don't worry about that. Don't worry. They're just,
Yeah. Yes. No, it's a gift. Every year is a gift. Every year.
Did you ever think that by the time you were 40, you would have 2 books out? And be doing
I did not
like
think I was going
this
to live to 40. I thought I was going to die.
at 27.
And yeah,
Me too.
it's weird.
I know, it's super weird. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have talked about this.
Yeah.
I think I'm stealing your memory. I have a bad habit of doing this.
That's okay.
But I did think I was going to live. What?
Slash bowel movement.
More of that. I'm curious where the finger went. Well,
Yeah, gotta get a book.
yes,
Gotta get
I'd
a
love
book
to have.
find out.
Yes, you do have to get the book to find out. Yes, we'd love to have Paris on the podcast. I just turned 24 in April. Tiffany, you don't look almost thank you so much. I'm excited that you're excited to read it. What is JS authentication? Are you in Flip dating? No, Flip is just one of my best friends. I do a podcast with him weekly, and he's married to my very best friend in the whole world. Any other questions about the book before we slither on? I don't know.
Okay.
Sold in, so it's not sold in a set. Because are we talking about the book? Because the first book, I tried to write this in a way that you don't have to have read the first book in order to enjoy it.
It's so clever.
I don't think that it was my idea.
Okay.
I think I pondered this for a while and we bounced it back and forth, but you know, and it's different.
Is it heavy?
It's heavy, but it's heavy. It's heavy, it's light, it's funny, it's serious, it's heartbreaking at times, it's
Whole roller coaster of emotions.
awkward, mostly awkward, I'd say.
Well, yeah.
Because I'm the main character. And if you know me, went to order it asking if I want a JA authentication. What is that?
I actually know what that is.
Yes, you do, because you're the greatest moderator in all the land. Flip Adam Live.
Isn't that crazy? But do you know how I know what that is?
What is it?
It's like an authentication service that verifies if something is authentic or not. So it's like I know it from sports memorabilia because I'm a dork and stuff like that. But that's interesting. I didn't know that you had that option.
I don't know anything.
But you got a new book coming out.
Oh yeah, good job, Flip. Yes. So, should they click it? Do they need it? Do they want? Whose husband is he? I always thought you guys were dating. No, not that. We're just friends. He's married to my best friend.
This is so exciting. I get to meet like a whole bunch of people that I didn't know.
I know. That's exciting.
So if you want your signed copy, make sure you go to premiercollectibles.com/clean mess. It's coming out June 3rd.
Yes. And if you go to the link in my bio, I've got all the places you can get it. If you want to sign one, make sure you click on the link that says a signed copy from Premier Collectibles.
You can get it. You can even get authenticated. That's a one-stop shop.
I know that sounds very fancy.
It is. It's super official.
I can't imagine never mind.
Is there anything else you want to tell us about your book before we get off here?
There's so much I'd like to tell you about this book.
You know what? Can we do some real quick?
Yeah.
I want another line. Open it up, read another line.
I don't know if I'm allowed to
read another line.
I don't know if I'm allowed to.
I'm the moderator. I feel like that gives me some sort of something.
All right, I'm gonna point to the opposite page.
Okay.
Oh, it's the beginning of a chapter. Ah! Colin's scream jolted me awake. My eyes shot open and I instantly panicked. What? What is it? I yelled, sitting straight up. Don't move. Colin had a look of fear in his eyes that made my heart stop. You want more of that?
Look, yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I'm excited too, everyone. It's
less than a week away.
I know. I haven't done a crazy job like posting daily about it, promoting it, just because I didn't want to oversaturate or, I don't know, make anyone annoyed with me, I guess. So this is one of the first big things that I'm doing for the book. So it means a lot that you all joined and that you came to hang out and say hello and that maybe you even got a signed copy. That means a lot to me too. And I got to do it with my friend Flippard, who you can follow if you want, because he's on Instagram and
Yes.
Facebook and TikTok, Flip
This-
Adam Live.
This isn't about me.
I know it's not about you. You wore a button-up shirt, so the least I could do.
Well, I mean, listen, I was talking to very important people, and so this is what happened. You're dressed up too.
I am from the waist up, big time, dressed up. Post it more for the next week. I'm looking forward to. I will. I'm going to post. I think I will. I think I'll be annoying for the next couple of days just because it is a week away, and now I'm
Less than a week.
panicking a little
How many
bit.
days are in May? 31.
I don't.
31.
That doesn't sound right.
3. It's like 6 days. It's 5 or 6 days. However many days are in this month.
Oh, my brother wrote, Flip, thanks again for being a good part of her life. Mm.
Thank you, brother.
Looks like you have a fucking brother. I didn't know you had a brother.
That's amazing. Are you trying to make me cry? Because I'll cry right now. So before we sign off,
Okay.
thank you so much for giving us some insight, giving us some little teasers.
No, you're welcome.
Clean Mess comes out June 3rd. If you want your signed copies, premiercollectibles.com/clean mess. If you can't remember that or don't know how to spell premiere like me, links in the bio.
Link is in the bio. We love you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Hopefully you enjoyed the book.
Of course. How could we not?
You better enjoy it. Like I said, I never go live on Instagram, so I'm not really sure how to leave, but I'm going to try to do that now. I love you.
You can't just press the
Bye.